Alright guys, the Vancouver Canucks defeat the Ottawa Senators at a final score of 5-2. So tonight was of course Alex Burrows' night, as he is being inducted into the Ring of Honor for Vancouver, and so of course he was being honored at tonight's game. I've always been a big fan of Alex Burrows, countless just great memories, a sandpaper player that truly sealed, that Sedin dominant line for many years. He really added that dynamic like Antoine Rousell. He's kind of a current example where, he made the Canucks one of the toughest teams to face in the whole NHL. Him and a guy like Ryan Kesler. He was a part of so many great playoff runs, and of course Vancouver's Stanley Cup playoff run, where of course they lost to Boston in Game 7 at home. Overall though, a great ceremony. Definitely great to see Alex Burrows back in the building, and it's also really nice to see that the Sedins also get involved, as well as Mason Raymond. Heading into this game, the Canucks were 13-11-4, which put them 5th in the Pacific and 10th in the West. And so, they were in need for a big home win tonight to put them in the right direction. As for a roster update, Jacob Markstrom is headed back to Sweden for a memorial for his father who recently passed away. So hopefully, Jacob Markstrom is doing alright. Which this also explains why Jacob Markstrom, started those 2 back-to-back games against Edmonton, which was, pretty weird, and we kind of thought something was up there. So heading into this game, Demko starts, and big Mikey DiPietro is in the backup position. And what I will say, if DiPietro did have to come in and play a game tonight, or just say Demko got injured, DiPietro is a completely different goaltender than we saw last year against the San Jose Sharks, being one of the top goalies in the whole AHL. Not only that, Antoine Rousell is back in the lineup. Hallelujah. And he is pumped. When Rousell was part of the team last season, I really loved this game. So much extra grit, some good offensive upside, and I'm just really glad he's back. Evler remains in the lineup, and Fantenberg is in. And on a side note, I really liked Fantenberg's game versus the Oilers, and I really liked his game today. He plays with some grit. He's able to finish checks really well. He plays a very safe game, and and he also scored tonight. First goal as a Vancouver Canucks. You love to see it. He's really reminiscent of like a Jordy Ben. Definitely a fantastic addition to that 7th overall defenseman or 7th defenseman spot compared to especially last year. And as for the Ottawa Senators, the Senators went against all expectations in the month of November with some very impressive wins against some really great teams. Pajot had 14 goals. He scored his 15th goal tonight, which is really great, considering this is his contract year. So I guess it's only fitting. Coming into this game, the Senators had a record of 11-15-1, which puts them 14th in the East, 7th in the Atlantic, and of course, Borecki, if you guys didn't see, any of the hockey news, actually just stopped a robbery while he was in Vancouver in Gastown, which is both awesome and hilarious, and Anders Nielsen started at net. And in a fashion that you could not make up, Antoine Rousell in his first shift of the game scores on his return to the Canucks lineup. He receives a fantastic feed from Adam Gaudette, who makes a great defensive play. You'll love to see it. You just absolutely love to see it. And then shortly after, Logan Brown with the bad turnover, Chris Tanev with a great deflection shot, and Tanner Pearson makes it 2-0. Pearson as of recently has been very, very good. Great start for the Canucks though, really good offensive zone pressure, great shot creation. Everyone's finishing their checks. It's only fitting because it's Alex Burrows' night, and overall, good first period from the Canucks. Dylan DeMel trades Horvat, and the Canucks are off to the first power play of the game. And 44 seconds into the first power play, with some great poise, some great strength from JT Miller, gets the puck to Besser, and Besser rips off that perfect slap pass to Pettersson to make the game 3-0. And then to end off the period, Jordy Ben rips the puck from the point. Zach McEwen tips the 4th goal of the game. McEwen gets his first goal as a Canuck, and the Canucks are up 4-0. Just a really great start from the Canucks. And of course, congratulations to McEwen. The second period had a lot of really great pressure from the Senators. In fact, the second and third period did. Much better than the first. In the first period, the Ottawa Senators looked deflated. They're still getting some good shots in the first period. I guess they're getting shots on net, but definitely not those quality opportunities that the Canucks were getting, which they were obviously capitalizing on. We also see Brady Tkachuk roughing it up with Hughes after the whistle, which is pretty hilarious because they are best friends. I'm a big fan of Tkachuk. If the Canucks didn't draft Hughes, I really wanted Brady Tkachuk. And Brady Tkachuk is definitely the real deal. So much skill, so much grit, great personality. Brady Tkachuk is really one of those good foundational pieces, or at least leading the charge for the Ottawa Senators. Jordy Ben tries to take a shot from the point. It gets deflected. Ottawa with a great offensive zone break, a scramble play, and Pajot gets his 15th goal of the season to make it a 4-1 game. The Ottawa Senators continued this period, with some really good scoring opportunities from the Tkachuk line. Not that the Canucks were necessarily playing bad or getting outplayed in the second period or even the third period, but they were just having some bad defensive lapses leading into, good scoring opportunities for the Senators. Chris Tanev takes a very questionable delay of game penalty as he gets called for holding. I don't know. I think the rulebook says he has to have his hand on the puck. It was in between his legs and he's down on his knees. And I guess it's a penalty, so the Senators go off on their second power play of the game. This happened at the end of the second, so start the third, the Ottawa Senators on the power play, and shortly after Chris Tanev steps out of the penalty box, Thomas Chabot with a great shot that finds its way to the back of the net, and all of a sudden, the Canucks were scoring in bunches, but now they are only up by 2. And then finally, after the Canucks scored all their goals in the first period, Oscar Fantenberg with a really good point shot kind of floats up and down, finds its way to the back of the net, and the Canucks are back up 5-2. And so Fantenberg gets his first goal as Canuck. Again, he looked really great tonight. I was really impressed. I'm really glad we have way better depth within that 7th man position. Really makes you want to question why Travis Green was keeping Fantenberg out of the lineup. I don't get that whatsoever. That's definitely a very bad judgment in my opinion. What do you guys think about that? And then 14 seconds after the Fantenberg goal, Nemestikov with a great backdoor feed brings the game to 2 once again. However, Travis Green does challenge this goal. Nemestikov was offside, so the game remains 5-2. And the game ends 5-2. So overall, not a bad game from Vancouver. Definitely some bad defensive lapses that we really need to tighten up here. First period was great. Second and third period were meh. But I guess it's okay. A win is a win. We get a big win on Alex Burrows' night. Still trying to recover from my move. But what do you guys think of this game? A big game on Alex Burrows' night. Let me know what you guys think down below. See you guys later.